before I was in my fifth grade. I had profound memories of this space because I grew up there. And one day, suddenly, the family decides to sell it off. Now, that was devastating. I loved that building. And while this building was coming down, I used to spend a lot of time, because I used to live 2 blocks away. I would come there, I would spend a lot of time just looking at that whole structure coming down. To that, one day, Priti asked me that, what is the whole motive behind this, right? And I said that when I grow up, I'm going to build the same house for Nanima again, all right? To that, very lovingly, she smiled and she said that, sure, but you'll have to be an architect then. Is that what you want to do? I clearly had no clue what architect meant or what architecture meant back then. But I'm thankful to Priti, who kept fueling my desire to be an architect. And here I am in front of you today, living every day of my life a dream. Architect Karan Desai. And I'm going to take you on a journey of the alchemy of possibilities. So there's a quick milestone here that we have. I was born on 20th of August 1987, and then there was a time, because I wanted to be an architect since I was in my fifth grade. And right from when I was in my 8th grade, I went to Sept University. In the 9th, I went to Manipal University just to check these colleges. And I checked a few colleges in Bombay because I had to get into like the bestest of the colleges, but worked for none. Anywho, I then decided to go to study my Bachelor's of Architecture abroad. And that is when I selected A-levels. I don't know if you guys know A-levels. It's a United Kingdom board. And I only had to study 3 subjects, PCM, while my other friends were studying like some 8 subjects, 10 subjects. And but just like 1 year into the course, I realized that I'm not going to leave my mom and go anywhere. I'm going to stay back in Bombay and I'm going to study my architecture. But now that was a challenge because A-levels gives you only grades. They don't give you percentage. And their grades only come out in August and September. That means that I would have missed out on my entire year of the admission process. Now, in an attempt to explain my situation to this college management, to my surprise, the lady director of the college knew everything about A-levels. She had studied it, she was advocating IGCSE and A-levels, and it made my life so much easier that she was more than happy to accommodate me in that course. So great, right? I mean, like, that was an onset of my dream, my journey into the architectural world. But it's not all that fancy. I get a year drop in my second year. Because I had some attendance issues. I was always late, but whatever. And the first thing I did was I called Priti. I told her about this. And with a very warm voice, she said that, don't worry, it's okay. Just come home. And that was very assuring. I just went home. And the very next day, I hopped on to an internship. Architect Ashish Shah, he was more than kind to absorb me into his studio and train me. Trust me, guys, whatever I am today is all because of the training that I've undergone at Ashish's. Coming back to 2008, I got my first independent project for my godmother, Rituma. I had shared a few ideas for what she could do for the renovation of her house. And looking at that, she was like, Karan, why don't you do it? She encouraged me to pick that topic, pick that project up and do it by myself. And I clearly remember she insisted on that, Karan, how much would you charge? And I was like, I've not even thought of it. I'm not even fit to charge. I'm not even fit to do a project by myself. But she did really push me. And I was thinking that 20,000, should I charge her? I don't know what. But I didn't charge her anything, of course, because I still had to explore by myself. I remember that it was 2nd of June 2008, on her birthday, that I handed over the project. And 20th of August 2008, on my birthday, she gifted me a MacBook Pro, which was more than $1.5 lakh in those days. So that's when my journey started. I resumed my college. I was working towards my thesis. And in 2011, this is Better Interiors. The house that I did for Rituma got featured on the cover page of Better Interiors in December 2011. While I was still studying, and it was 2011 when I had to give my thesis, just before that, I had I was invited for a dinner party to this house. Now, this was in Valkeshwar, and I was flabbergasted, okay? Because the interiors were amazing. They had no fans in the house. It was a duplex facing the ocean. You could just see the Mumbai skyline. The whole house was on automation. You could see Italian furniture all around. And I slipped into depression. And I went out. This is, forgive me for this image, but this is the deck. I sat by this Pratima ji looking into the vastness of the horizon. And I kept thinking that, will I ever be able to do something like this? All right. Now, I remember Priti telling me always that dream big and only dream big. All right. So I was like, okay, let me just put these thoughts into the universe. Let me just put these positive affirmations out there. So I started to make my requirement list. One was that this location is very important. I mean, like if you don't see the ocean, it's not going to work. Second was the scale of the project. This was a duplex, 2,500 square foot. I was like, anything less than that is not going to make sense. Third was the client should also be rich. Otherwise, what am I going to do, right? And the fourth was that there are a lot of rich people, but how many rich people have the heart to really spend the money on what you want to do? So these are the four things that I had in my mind, which I sent it out in the universe. I was like, koi to sun lo yaar, I want to be doing this someday. But coming back to the timeline where 2011, I gave my thesis. We picked up a project of my mommy and a couple of family friends, you know how it goes. And in 2012, we were introduced to Mr. Dalmia. And it was the same year when we found my studio, Karan Desai Architecture Plus Design. We kept on working. There was an upward graph, a low and up, and then it was quite steady. We were doing great stuff, but I wasn't happy. I wasn't feeling the sense of that I could associate myself to a project yet, what I really want to do in my life. Cut to 2019, when I get a random call, and this guy says, "Hi Karan, this is Jignesh." I was like, "Hi." He tells me, "Are you an interior designer?" I was like, "Yes." He's like, "Okay, great. Then I have a project. Would you do it for me?" I was like, "Sure. Where is this project?" And he says, "It's in Valkeshwar." Guys, this is the same location, the same house, and the same owner. Now, this is the alchemy of possibilities in my life. We did this house. Now, the moment I got into this project, I started to name it the Dream Project, okay? Because it was a dream come true. This is what I put back into the universe and it has come to me. I started to talk about this to my friends, my peers, my contemporaries, and a lot of other people. And it was amazing because they started to refer me to other vendors who were doing some really incredible work which I didn't know about, right? So there was this one guy who walked into my office and he's like, "Karan, I can turn any surface into a switch for you." I was like, "Okay, fair enough." I was amidst closing some bathroom tiles for a client. I had a molding in my hand, ceramic molding. I threw at him and I told him that, "Fair enough, turn this into a switch and give it to me." This guy took 20 days to make a prototype, and we are the first people in India to convert a bathroom tile into a switch. This is what you see there. So an idea converted into reality. Second thing was that, you see so many reference images. My narrative of art is different. I wanted to, just you see art on the wall and you have to stand 10 feet away and just admire it. I wanted art to be where you can go touch it. It has some function, some texture. And this is when I thought that, why don't I make my doors a piece of art? So I had an idea of making resin doors. Nobody has ever made them, okay, because for a reason, of course. But we found a guy. My client was super excited about it. And after some 7 to 8 attempts, we finally got the right product. And we're the first people to make hand-poured resin doors with all our hardwares and with all our CNC cuttings and everything. So that's what you see there. I have so many other things, like we started to design our own carpets and our furniture and all of that. But another thing that I really want to share is that, like I said, the ocean was the hero of this project, right? Now, usually when you have a vast expanse of opening, you have windows which move horizontally, and you have these millions which block your view. And I wanted to have something which was uninterrupted. correct? I found out this company in Italy, which was called Sunroom. They only made 4.5 meters of window, which would travel vertically up and down so that you have a clear view. Now, I wanted was 6 meters. I spoke about this to my client. Him being an engineer, he goes up to me and tells me that, Karan, why don't you put me on to the technical team of Sunroom Italy? After a couple of meetings and a lot of tests on their softwares, we are the first people in India and in the history of Sunroom Italy that a 6 meter wide window is manufactured there, installed in India, and on automation. So, by all these, successes with the crazy ideas that we had, I was convinced that I was no less than an Italian designer. Okay, so I walk up to my client where 95% of the house furniture was coming from Italy. I tell him that, hey, would you mind if I design a few products? And he jumped saying that, yes, of course, why not? So I chose marble as a material, as rigid and solid as a material that is. We carved out some organic structures out of one solid block, and this is what we did. So this is a T-bar where everything, the whole body is made out of marble. These are the bedside tables carved out of one solid block, and of course we've added carpentry for the drawers and everything. And in front of it is the chaise lounge carved out of one block. Okay, this entire chaise lounge that you see. Now, the clients were super happy. Everybody who came to the house was super happy. They all appreciated this hard work. And this gave us some next level encouragement to do something crazy. All right. So in 2022, we came up with a monster collection. I collaborated with the Quarry, and I had this crazy idea of doing something out of the box, doing something out of imagination, which nobody's ever seen. And not really worrying about if I would ever sell it or what would people think about it, or will it be a failure or will it be a success? Not thinking about it, we embarked on this journey for working on towards our monster collection, and this is what we came up with. That's a monster console, that's a bathtub, and the basin. Now this wacky idea got us overnight success, overnight fame. All right, where at the exhibition in India Design in Delhi, we had people who flocked, like thousands of people would come, just sit in the bathtub and have that selfie. So this is an actual image of that. And this is the console. So now, of course, with this crazy idea goes a lot of crazy money into it, right? Where's that money going to come from? So what I did was that we were doing a house for one of the richest families in Bombay. It was their son's bachelor pad. I made clay models of this console. I went up to him, I gave my whole presentation, and he looks up to me and says that, Karan, I'll buy this, only if you promise me to not make it for anybody else. All right? So we actually sold it. We sold the idea without even making it, and today it lies in Warsaw in his house. And with all the money that we made out of this, I pumped it into the exhibition that we had to do in India Design. Now, of course, with this, we came up with Monster 2.0 collection in 2024, where I went a step higher. I collaborated with 3 brands, that is Top Brewer, Casa Walls, and Bharat Floorings. All right. So our Monster Gattu, the first one that you see, is a coffee machine. It has a coffee machine with Top Brewer. It's a coffee bar. This is a Yoda totem with Bharat Floorings, and this is Mon Vengers. Now, if you see, this is from India Design 2024, like the images from the site. Our Gattu was picked up by Top Brewer Austria for their international headquarters. Our Monster Yoda totem was picked up by a homeowner in Calcutta. And our Casa Walls superhero series is with an art collector today. So now, with all of this happening, I had posted a work in progress of our first Monster collection. The reel might have gone viral, and it got attention of Serafini, that is a brand from Italy. That is Alessandro, who called me and he asked me if I would like to design a product for them. And I jumped and I yelled yes. So guys, I am super excited and proud to say that I'm one of the very few Indians and the only young designer who's been picked up by an Italian brand to collaborate on a product. And we will be representing India on an international platform this year in Fiori Salone in Milan. So that's that. We embarked on our first international project in Chicago this year. It's a beautiful 20,000 square foot mansion by a lake. and we've been featured on all these top publications. It's amazing. It feels good. Now I can't sit idle, right? I had to do something, and there was always an idea to give something back to the society. And this idea cropped up, Shuk Khabar. Now, Shuk, I'm Gujarati. I speak a lot of Gujarati. It's just today that I'm very mindful of not speaking it. But Shuk Khabar means what's up. And with what's up comes in the entire gossip. So in today's real world, the real world is forgotten, right? We all talk about the highs and the happiest moments of our life, but nobody really talks about the failures or the dull moments, or if they have failed and how did they overcome it. So this platform is where we've collaborated with different designers, a product designer, architect, interior designer, landscape architect, a lawyer, that is Zinat. We've got Samir and Ashish, who are a photographer and a stylist. And we're going to have an editor of a magazine, Living, etc. All of these people coming from different walks of life and giving their advices, giving their knowledge, sharing their life experiences for the younger generation. And even if one person takes up a cue and can work on their career, I think this entire thing will be worthwhile. So that's Shuk Khabar with KD. And, how do you say, कहते हैं अगर किसी चीज को दिल से चाहो तो पूरी कायनात उसे तुमसे मिलाने में जुट जाती है. That's Priti and I, my beloved mother. She's in Australia right now. She couldn't make it. She's the one who's been the backbone of my entire success to whatever I am today. She's the one who's made me believe that there is an energy force out there who's listening to me and who's always at work to help me reach my goals. And I take responsibility of all my actions. I try and give my 100% to whatever I do, and I have failed. And I've failed miserably. But the best part is that with her being by my side, I've always just grown and walked forward. She's the one who's seen a silver lining even when I'm surrounded by the darkest of the clouds of self-doubts. She's someone whom I can talk from sex to spirituality, everything. And that's my spiritual master, Puja Gudeshi, in whom I have found my source of that divine energy, that divine force. Thank you. This is Architect Karan Desai, and this was my life journey, the alchemy of possibilities.